One of the amazing things about making a patchwork is trying to get a wonderful harmony, a wonderful excitement out of a given range of colors, and to have a balance. Brandon and I collaborate on work all the time. It speeds things up. Otherwise, you're sitting there trying something, thinking, is it right, is it right? And when I start to do something, I say, Brandon, come and look at this. So it's very reassuring. We do it for each other. Yeah, well, what we're doing is we're putting up pieces and creating these big squares of diagonal stripes until it looks balanced color-wise. My love affair with patchwork started when a friend of mine bought a wonderful old antique quilt. So I would say that a lot of my ideas come from the decorative arts world. Liza Lucy suggested that I make patchwork. Liza Lucy was a rep in America. She said, you will design fabric to go into these quilts one day. So then they said, okay, we're going to launch this as a range of fabrics for quilters. Would you do some patterns to go with it? And that's how I got started. That was Westminster asking me to get started. And so working with Rowan and Westminster, creating these ranges of fabrics, and then, of course, making quilts to show off the fabrics, to show the quilts in a beautiful way that would amplify the color. When we start a book, we're taking the latest collection of the Kaffe Collective, which is Philip Jacobs, Brandon Mabley, and myself, creating a collection for that year. And we take those fabrics, put them into quilts, then we take that quilt to a wonderful location, and we try to find a location that has a lot of variety. So we've got wonderful colored walls, we've got a bit of gardenness, we've got landscape, we've got this and that, all within a range that we can fly to and have a billet on the edge of it and just walk around this location and get all of our shots. When I first started designing fabrics, there was a great resistance to the kind of thing that I'm doing in fabrics. I like scale. I like operatic panache. And so I would design big roses, the size of your head, and big cabbages and things like that on my fabrics. And people responded to it. Most of the patchwork world in those days was working with little repetitious patterns from the Civil War or thimbleberries. They were people that produced little typical things, and those were the big sellers and the dominant look of most shops you would go into. What was interesting is that we now dominate the field in the sense that we're influencing a lot of other companies to come bigger scale and more color. What I look for in a really good quilt is for my eye not to stop traveling. I want to look at it and have my eye wandering around and not fall into a black hole or into a bright light. So that I want an evenness of attention. The great companies of this world, there are very few who produce good materials for us artists. We need our paint boxes of color, our beautiful jewel-like threads, and our wonderful fabrics. So I am so enamored of anybody that puts in the time and everything that has to be in place in order to produce a beautiful market of fabrics that keep coming year after year and allow us to be creative and travel the world and make our books. So I'm very grateful to Ron.